Christmas Eve is slowly fading. Can you hear him in the night? Close the door, turn out the light.
Santa's watching, Santa's creeping. Now you're
Yeah, that song is still catchy. All right, Merry Christmas, everybody. I'm Punkin Jack, and today we're coming out of the Ghastly Hallows, accompanied by.
And Deadly Bolt.
Ah, yes, very deadly bolt. So deadly. So, today on the subject, for those of you who can see the thumbnail, joining me live also, I'm streaming to TikTok, so anybody on TikTok feels like saying hi over here, go ahead and pop one. I can see the chat. So today, we're discussing what I think the most controversial Christmas slasher film of all time. Because nobody has pissed at this movie than other people have, and I'm not exaggerating on this one. Today we're talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night, 1984, the golden era, in my opinion, of slasher movies. This one, notorious. When you hear the plot, it gets even worse because so many bad things happen against the backdrop of what is, to most people, the most wholesome holiday out of the year. Christmas, Sinterklaas, Krampusnacht, whatever they call it everywhere else in the world. It's what is to most people the happiest day. And then you got this movie. So, plot begins. Billy and his family are on their way to visit their senile, decrepit grandpa, who hasn't said a word in years, whose life is entirely, I'm gonna fuck with kids. Just mess with kids as much as I can, be an asshole. Because he walks right up to this kid and says, don't you know what Santa does? All them kids has been naughty, he punishes. And then he never says a word again. Like, ever again. He just hides and the people come back and he disappears. In the other side, we also have some Santa Claus going nuts, shooting people left and right. This evil Santa meets Billy on the most awful coincidental night ever, and eventually kills Billy's family and tries to assault his mom. And poor Billy. He becomes an orphan, grows up scarred. He just keeps getting passed around by horrible people. And he grows up to fulfill the role of the evil, punishing Santa, punishing naughty kids as he goes on a murder spree across town. That is essentially the thinnest plot for 1984's Silent Night, Deadly Night, directed by Charles Sellier. Now, what's important about this film? It's a basic slasher film with a bit of an intro, right? Like, they talk a bit about you spend a lot of time with Billy. You see the origins of Billy. You get to chill with him and see him as a kid. See that he wasn't a bad person. Even as an adult, he's not a bad person. It's just well, I guess you could say, right? He was triggered before triggering was a thing. Like, seeing Santa triggers Billy, right? Like, right, guys? Like, yay or nay on the he's just triggered when he sees Santa. He goes nuts.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's PTSD. The straight textbook PTSD.
Yeah, it's like a genuine trauma story. It's like, I mean, sure, it's fictionalized and exaggerated, but it does kind of like somewhat, I mean, from what I understand of how this sort of thing works psychologically, or at least kind of the folk wisdom version of it. But have you ever heard the phrase "hurt people hurt people"? Genuine trauma story.
That thing.
Yeah, that kind of hits home for a lot of people. But yeah, like, he becomes the thing that hurt him. He becomes an evil Santa Claus, and it kind of like combines with the story that his grandfather gave him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, of course, it's like made into something more cinematic and maybe something that even is at times a little silly, but it does kind of follow that pattern of, like, you know, you do harm that was done to you.
Yeah, basically, you become the thing that you were afraid of, so that it can't harm you anymore. That's the way I understood that. He tried his best not to be evil Santa. For as much as he could, he tried his best to not have to be that. And then in the end, he ultimately became the Santa Claus, the nightmare. To just, it's crazy, right? Like, you don't. I actually felt bad for this kid. Well, he's not a kid. This guy's like really, really handsome, good looking adult. But you feel bad for him when he gets older. You're like, yeah, he's not bitter. He's not a bad person, right? Like, he's not.
He's a hard worker.
Yeah, he is. When you get that really 80s ass montage of him working at the store.
It was great. It was great. And I can't watch that without thinking of Team America.
Yeah.
If you want to go from a beginner to a pro, you need a montage. Montage. Even Rocky had a montage.
Always feed out
So-
in montage.
And they hit all like the wholesome beats of like, oh yeah, he won't drink alcohol when his like senior coworker tried to offer him. He's like, oh, I'll just take milk instead. I'm just like, all right, we get it. This guy was magically reformed by the power of abusive Catholic Church parenting.
You know what that scene, what those scenes in the montage reminded me of? It was like watching one of those etiquette videos from like the 60s and the 50s. Like, you know, do this when you're on the job, or like later in the 80s and 90s with the just say no stuff. Like, bring your carton of milk. Just say no.
In this scene, we see that guy who looks like a discount Joe Pesci offer Billy some alcohol on the job. What do you do, Billy? He does look like a discount Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear otherwise.
Yeah,
No arguments from me.
Discount Joe Pesci. You could also say store brand Tommy DeVito.
Oh yeah, considering what that guy does in the future scenes of this movie, yeah.
Oh man, like no one will feel bad about what happens to this person.
No one except the
Oh,
person who
that's-
was getting assaulted by him. What the
No.
fuck?
Yeah,
I mean, no, she didn't feel bad. She didn't want that to happen neither.
right.
It's-
If he hadn't killed him, then he would have been the hero, unambiguously.
But can we talk about how at the age of 18 he literally like that guy was, as far as we knew, a grown man. This young kid literally
It
one
was.
hand strangles him with lights.
It was the
That's-
80s. That's how things rolled back in the day.
But like,
Back in the
he's
day,
strong for no reason.
back in the day, you were pretty much an adult when you were out of school. At 18, especially in that era, you were an adult already. That's how it
Yeah.
went. You like it. That's why there's always those people that are like, "Oh man, I just can't wait to be 18," and they're like, really can't do much. What is it? At 18, you can star in a porn, but you can't buy a porn. And that's some shit. But
Really? You can't buy porn when you're 18?
no, 21. Well, back in the day, I don't know now.
Oh, okay. I think it's 18
You
now.
can star in one, but you can't go
Okay.
buy your own movie.
Okay, yeah. It's like at 16 you can be a server that brings people alcohol, but you can't drink it.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's just the weird shit of life, right? So, this one, like the kid, he doesn't look like a kid, right? It's also like the teenage gaze. Like at 18, he would not look as strapping and handsome as he does at that age. I'll never forget the first time I showed this movie to some friends. My friend, she's sitting there. We're watching the movie, watching the plot. Like, we're all getting invested, but we're playing a game in the background. Once you see him come out to be introduced to the store clerk, my friend looks at him and she's like, oh, hello. I'm like, yeah. Like, I can't disagree with you, but you are ruining the vibe of the film, so I have to stop the vibe check. No.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the Grease effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like when you had like 31-year-old John Travolta playing a high school kid. Like
yeah.
visibly 31-year-old John Travolta.
Is it wrong that that movie makes me angry?
Not at all. No,
Okay.
it should make you angry.
Okay, good. I get angry when I hear Grease music. I don't know why. It's the most irritating fucking music on the planet.
Oh no, I like the music. I just don't think the movie is that good.
I have a hard time with the whole thing. I could watch this. Actually, you know what? I have watched this movie more than I've watched Grease, and that's just saying something. I've even sang that Christmas song before, and people are like, "Oh, what's a Christmas song that you know?" I'm like, "All right, cool. I just want to tell you where I heard it." Santa's watching, Santa's waiting.
I had never heard that one before.
It was made exclusively for the movie.
It was made for this movie.
Yeah, it was made
Okay.
exclusively for the movie, and
Yeah.
then like
Yeah,
they sat.
they
on
ran
it.
out of money. They ran out of money licensing all of those toys with the trademark characters that they couldn't afford to use a Christmas song.
All right, so let's break this down because this movie has a lot of shit that you can just unpack and just we're gonna take a baseball bat to all the stuff we pull out of the fucking Santa's gift bag in this one. So let's start from the top. What the hell was up with that old man? Like he's just quiet and he's sitting there and then like he waits for the people to go away. He looks at the kids like, all right, now's the time for me to be an asshole, scare some kids. Like, that's like fucking
No.
decrepit. Like poor Billy.
Yeah.
I mean, no, it's like it's two different manifestations of dementia, maybe. In the one time, I mean, at certain points, you're just kind of a mute invalid, and nobody's quite sure if there's anything going on inside your head. But then you just become a sadistic asshole.
Yeah.
I hear me out. I have a weird theory. I think he was supposed to be a stand-in for the Ghost of Christmas Future.
Whoa.
Elaborate on that theory, sir.
So like the only thing he does is literally like traumatizes a young Billy, but you basically more or less hands out the script of what he ends up becoming, and also ultimately ends up happening to his more or less his family, except for the baby brother that is the only one that survived this whole ordeal until the end of the film.
Yes, Garbage Day, the baby.
Yeah, I'm not sure we'll ever tackle that, but I'm not looking to touch that anytime soon.
We'll touch that on that movie eventually. But not today. But no, right? Like I was just confused. I'm like, wait a minute, why the hell? Like, so that means this old guy just sits there all day long waiting for kids to walk over and say something stupid, and then goes on about his day. Like that it? That's his whole life expectancy. Like, if so, that's pretty cool. But still,
Yeah, it's just, like it felt out of
Would you
place.
take that deal?
I mean, I don't have to pay bills no more, right? I'm just
Well,
demented.
I mean, we all know that's eventually who you're going to be, but
Yeah, like if that's all
Who
I
you
have to
want
do
to
is just
be.
sit there and be mindless watching TV, and then some kid walks by like Santa's gonna punish you.
I mean, to be fair, was he wrong? Was he wrong in the end?
He wasn't. But you know, he didn't know that. He's just there being nuts. Like, okay, cool.
that's
pretty cool.
that's a hell of a coincidence right there.
Yes,
That's a confluence of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
That's like that Seinfeld episode where he's like, well, you know what? I had sex with your wife. And the guy starts
His
crying.
wife is in a coma.
How the hell? Okay. Yeah. Wow. Oh man, that is one of those moments. You're like,
You know, just
yes, you can't do it.
You know, Billy's hiding in the bushes and Santa's looking for him, and he just stands up and says, "Hey, Santa, the jerk store called. They're running out of you."
We would have ended right
And then he
there.
runs into the woods.
Oh
Okay.
man, I love that thing. I love Seinfeld.
All day.
Anyway,
Oh, H.
so
It is bad.
What does she have to say?
Yes, he
Grandpa
just sits there
there
and
and
scares
scars children.
Oh yes, yeah.
Sits there all day long. He's not even like decrepit or deranged looking, right? He looks like a normal. He looks like he's really well groomed and whatever. He's just fucking crazy. So then we also beat what I like to call the Billy Bob's Bad Santa, the beta version of that. What the hell was that Santa's fucking problem? Like, I'm still
Was
confused.
he beta? I felt like he was more alpha because he had no reason to do any
Well,
of the
you know,
things he did. Like,
we're going by computer build. He's like the beta build of what would then become Billy Bob Santa, where he just chooses not to sexually assault women and shoot
but
people.
He
He killed a guy for $38.
yeah, I'm like.
Well, he thought it was going to be more.
But even if you account for like the time and inflation back then, that was not worth it. That was really what was the whole point of that? You didn't have to kill him.
First off, I wouldn't have risked my life for $38. The fucking clerk knows what's in the fucking in the cash register. $34. I wouldn't have picked that fight. Like, here you go.
So the Santa was evil, but the clerk was stupid.
Yeah, $38.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fuck out of here for $38.
Yeah.
Like, you want some beer too?
Yeah, and I mean, no. Anybody who is working retail, give them the money. Give them the money. Don't be a hero.
Yeah.
Give them the money.
You're just
Even if you
supposed.
have a
That's what
weapon,
you're
you give them
supposed to
money.
do. You're
That's what
supposed
you're
to give
supposed
them
to
the
do. You give
money.
them the money.
What the hell? Like, you only pull out the gun if the guy leaves. That's when you pull out the gun in case he comes back. That's what the protocol is. You give them the money. He walks out. You grab the gun as you call 911 because you never know. Like, he might want to be a witness. And then you pull out the gun. Like that's what. If he comes back into the store, you pull the gun, and it's again to make him go away. Not, I'm going to defend the $38 in this register. Click.
See, it wasn't just the $38. It was the honor. It was his honor.
Oh, and the cigarettes, I think he took with him too.
You know how much cigarettes were in '84?
Cents.
They were like in '84, like a pack of cigarettes was like 50 cents, $1 or something like that. They only raised the price because they wanted to fight tobacco smoking in like the late 2000s. But back in the day, you could easily get $5 when I was a kid. Remember, I grew up in New York. All my brother knows the school I went to. You walk into the school, and out in front there are all the grungy kids, most of my friends, smoking the pack that they would each put in $5 and go buy one down at the guy in like Forest Hills who used to be there. He's gone now. They used to buy the stogies from him, and nobody cared. Like, that's what it was, $5. But to stop those kids,
back when they were cheap and you could have cartoon characters on the advertisements.
that's right, Bon. Marlboro Lights and Laramie cigarettes. They go down smooth. That's great, Fred. Anyway.
I hate to see him working so hard like this. Let's go to the back.
That's right, Fred. Well, like, that's what. So to fight that, the government got up the tobacco companies' asses to raise the price on cigarettes. Now it's like, what? Last I checked, it was like $20 a pack. And even then, like, I don't really see cigarettes at the forefront anymore. Now I see cigarettes like in the back. Just to show you like how worthless it was to piss your life away for a bunch of cigarettes like that. Like, it's a stupid thing.
And like all of it's worked. Like maybe a combination of the messaging and the changing economics, but smoking is rare now.
Well, yeah.
No, it's just like a different form.
Almost like surprising when you see someone smoking. It used to be like you would see it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I still see it all the time.
I mean, I see people smoking weed all the time, but I don't see
Depends on
people
where you live, I
smoking
guess.
cigarettes all the time anymore. But when we
I
were
don't know,
kids,
like,
like
go down-
cigarettes were everywhere.
I mean, no, they're still everywhere. Just depending on your commute, honestly.
Right. Okay.
Even
well,
in cold
so
weather, it's suppressive.
how do we get onto cigarettes? Oh yes, the
Because
clerk.
a fucking
Okay.
idiot sacrificed his life for cigarettes.
The $32 in cigarettes.
$32
Yeah.
and
Well,
4 packs of cigarettes. What the hell's wrong with you? Like, it was
Little-
$32.
Little did
Yeah,
he
wow.
know, and sadly he never got to find out that one day he would be selling that pack of cigarettes for $32.
Bingo, moron.
Yeah.
You moron. But it was also funny.
What are you, stupid? What are you, stupid?
He deserves it. You fucking idiot. You stupid. So his parents were probably yelling at him in the afterlife. What are you, stupid? You sacrificed your life for $32 and some cigarettes? You fucking moron. What the hell's the matter with you?
Yeah, oh, in heaven, they're smacking him over the back of the head. What's the matter with you?
Man, the worst part is the robber was pissed. He's like, $34. Merry fucking Christmas, as he gets in his car and drives away.
Which his car was just hilarious. It's like really a red car that is supposed to mimic a red sleigh. I'm like, okay,
That
you
thing
knew what
also
you were
sticks
doing.
out like a sore thumb. To be real with you
Yeah.
too. Like that.
I mean,
that-
so does a Santa
nerve.
costume. So does a Santa costume.
Not on Christmas Eve. It doesn't. That's actually something I have heard about in the past. Like on Christmas Eve, if Santa's going around ripping people off, it's the hardest. That's like the perfect crime. You would most likely get away with a crime if you go around pulling it in a Santa outfit because everyone's wearing that thing on a fucking
Yeah,
But like
Christmas
they're
Eve.
in Utah. The population in Utah is very low. If you were in like in a big city like
I thought they were in
Philadelphia, like-
Chicago for some reason.
No, Utah.
You didn't
The
see
license plate said
the
Utah.
mountains?
Oh,
Yeah.
they're in, for some reason
Yeah.
I thought it was Midwest because somebody says Midwest like a whole bunch of times in that movie. I thought it was Santa. I thought it was
Oh,
Chicago.
okay.
So,
No, you go to the Midwest, there's no mountains like that.
all right, so it was
Yeah.
Utah.
Oh, when I first saw the mountains in the first scene, I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Are they in Colorado? Close, but yeah.
Well, you know, Utah has
Yeah.
nice mountains too, and then
Yeah.
a bunch
Oh,
of
yeah.
Mormons, so it's all fun. But we get to this one, and I'm just sitting there like, all right, following murderous evil Santa. I've also learned this lesson too after watching movies and for this podcast, just horror. Don't stop for anybody at any given time for any fucking reason,
knew you
even
were
if they're
gonna say
dressed in
that.
a fucking Santa outfit. Just don't stop for people.
I knew you were gonna say
Don't-
that. That
don't
was,
stop.
Oh man.
But why the hell would you stop on Christmas Eve for anything, for anyone? I really don't care if people have all kinds of problems. Don't stop.
This is the advantage of cell phones now, because now, like, people typically don't need help if they get stuck on the side of the road. They typically have a charged phone and they can call someone.
You know, they say, what
People
is it,
don't have
buddy? Your
charged
phone don't
phones.
have a charge?
It's safer for them. It's safer for everybody else that doesn't have to take the risk of stopping for someone in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm even surprised that somebody didn't walk up. Like nowadays, what would happen is, what up, broke ass? You can't afford AAA. It's like $6 a month. Broke. And drive off.
Yeah. You can also get it like instantly. You just call them and then you have it. It's just
Yeah, like it's not that big a deal. Like back in the day, fine, right? Like AAA used to offer all these advantage packages, but like now they're optional. So it's like $6 a month. Saved my ass in Missouri.
and you can get it for family members too. It's just like okay. We're starting to do the reverse sponsorship where we're trying to bait a sponsor by
This
by
episode
talking
was
about-
not brought to you in part by the American Automotive Association, who does more than just check your car in a tight spot. Anyway,
but it could be.
But seriously, like, don't stop. These people, like, not only did they stop, the kid is freaking out about seeing Santa, and they're about to go put him in front of a Santa. Like, what the hell is the theme with that too in this movie? Kid gets
No, the
afraid of
theme is-
Santa. They keep putting him in front of Santa. Kid's like,
Hey.
no, mommy, don't. Mommy, drive away. He's bad.
But you know the thing, people don't listen to children, even when especially when they're right. They don't listen to children, and bad things happen when you don't listen to children that are right.
yeah,
It's
like,
hilarious.
yeah, this is one of those moments. I'm like, you know
No,
what? The
always
kid's
listen-
right here.
If you're in a horror movie, always listen to the kid or the dog. Don't listen to the cat, because the cat doesn't give a shit. Listen to the kid.
The
That-
cat's
or the
out
dog.
for himself.
Yeah.
The cat's out looking for number one, and that ain't you.
Actually, is this a pattern? Let's keep an eye out for this as we watch more horror films, because I think the pattern might be, if there's a dog, it always dies. If there's a cat, it doesn't. Because the cat in this movie doesn't die. And when I saw the cat, I didn't even worry about whether the cat was going to die. I just assumed,
There's a
yeah,
cat?
there's a cat.
Oh, I remember the cat. Oh, to
Yeah.
be fair, the cat was the setup for that poor girl's death. So another animal getting people killed. There. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
well, see, no,
Yeah.
that's my point though, is that the dog dies, but the cat gets people killed. I think that might be the pattern, actually.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
it's always the cat's fault some way. But also, like in the scene after he's already killed the girl, the cat's still just like hanging out. And like nothing happens. Like
that is sadistic animal behavior. I've ever seen it. That's just.
it's not even sadistic. It's apathetic. I just like the cat just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, the cat's like, yeah, like I said, the cat's looking out for number one, and that ain't you. The cat is gonna
That was a
get
poor
himself out of
coincidence.
trouble.
Yeah.
That was a poor coincidence. Like, what are the odds that a household cat, has a bell that just so happens to ring enough for people like, oh, if the cat's bell's ringing, that means they need to be let inside. And that was true up until you just see Santa coming in with the axe out of nowhere and just taking her out. It's like,
Punish.
if he didn't have bells, that wouldn't have happened.
Well, even if it did have bells, that Santo,
Yeah, no, she had no chance.
we're skipping
She had no
because I actually want to talk a little bit about how he was tortured in an orphanage.
Oh yes, the Catholic Church strikes again.
And actually, we're about to find out who the true culprit was with this movie right there. So, to my understanding, the ones who led the charge with the protest of this movie were actually church groups of America.
Okay, so the part of the controversy was over the portrayal.
It was actually it's kind of funny, right? Like, because right now, so not to get political, but I actually want to explain to some listeners out there how cinema, propaganda, and opinions work. It's a very easy explain. The people who are pissed off will rarely, if ever, come out and say that they're pissed off. They have someone else say something else that pisses them off. So, for example, in this movie's case, the portrayal of the Catholic Church in the orphanage and that the fact that we all want to see that nun murdered is pretty much what's at the center of the controversy. However, they won't say that because it's a little too direct, and people really won't give a shit because, to my understanding, in the 80s, and I'm pretty sure anybody whose parents were around in the churches beforehand will say, yeah, no, the nuns used to beat us silly. Like, they used to walk around with that ruler and whack us when we would do something wrong in school, walk wrong in church and Sunday school. Like, it was a common stereotype back in the day. So no one's going to get pissed about that. But what they will get pissed at is if you tell them to target who is the biggest, most commercialized icon in American history, which is Santa Claus. And that's what they did. They went to go protest that this movie was a poor image of Santa Claus, and that children are upset by the portrayal of Santa Claus in this movie. And we're all sitting there like, wait a minute, this is a rated R movie. Kids ain't supposed to be seeing this movie. Censorship starts at home, bitch. Like, what's wrong with you?
But like, it gets better. You know the test group that they show this movie to that greenlight this whole thing. Teenagers.
Yeah, teenagers.
Of course they're gonna greenlight this film
because it was meant for them. Like, back in the day, these movies were not meant for the rating system didn't mean anything back in the day. And even then, like, it was way more lenient. So, for example, a movie that is PG, not PG-13, PG, was the 1990s first Ninja Turtles movie, PG. Not even PG-13. And that movie has violence, smoking, cussing. You have these kids, like, you have the ninjas, like, slapping a lady. One kid, like, Shredder gets impaled into a garbage truck. The turtles are saying, damn, 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 all the time. PG. Nowadays, people go like, oh, but PG is more like G, and G is kind of like for everybody. Like, no, bitch, back in the day, PG-13 was what R is nowadays. So when this movie says R for that time, you do not take your kid to see it. I don't know at what point Silent Night, Deadly Night is a movie for a kid. unless you're in my family. It is not a movie for a kid.
Parenting at its finest in America.
Oh no, but you know what's also funny is that all it did was it had the Streisand effect. They shouldn't call it the Streisand effect. They should call it the Cyanide Deadly Night effect. Because this happened before Streisand did it. What happened here was everybody in Hollywood started to virtue signal that, you know, I don't... You had those two assholes, fucking Hebert, Siskel and Ebert. This movie is all blood money. They actually came out and said this on fucking TV. This movie is blood money. And I hope you're proud of yourselves. We're going to name the producers assholes. They put their names on the credit for this movie. They were proud of what they did. We're going to shame them so that these holidays should not be forsaken in such a way. Even though it's okay when Halloween did it like a couple of years ago. You hypocrites. Like, Halloween is a kid's holiday, but they have an icon in Michael Myers at this point who's rolling strong. And then you guys say, oh, we can't do it to Santa. This wasn't the first Santa slasher movie.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't. There was like 3
It's like the third?
Yeah, it's like there was 2 before this one. And the other ones also dealt with a dude who was nuts with the Santa issue in his head. So it goes into like, what is the problem? The problem is the other ones didn't have Catholics misportrayed. The league behind them turned around and said, no. Go attack. They're attacking Santa. And then out comes the Karens of 1980s with all the hairspray telling adults what to do. It's a rated R movie. Like, I don't understand. But, you know, us as millennials, we canceled everything. Get the fuck out of here. We don't cancel anything. We just don't watch it. That's it. We don't tell other people, don't watch it. We just don't watch it. For example, I don't watch the hypocrite fest that is known as WWE. I hate them.
There it is.
I would love if they went out of business. I would love if the CEO of that company dropped dead tomorrow. It'd be great. However, I can't do any of that. I just don't watch it. And I unfriend people who keep telling me to watch it. Because it sucks. All right, there ends my rant. I'm kind of dragging energy out of the room. Fuck cancel culture. That's all I have to say. Like real cancel culture, like these people did. Boomers were doing it before we were doing it a long time ago. Bullshit.
And all it accomplished was made the movie more popular and made it more money. Like within the first 2 weeks, when it was offered in selected areas, like selected screenings, it made so much money. And then when it became more available, it just keep making more money.
Yeah.
Like you did nothing except waste your time, energy, and breath.
That's the thing with cancel culture now too, is that a lot of the things that people try to cancel end up doing very, very well. Like Dave Chappelle's Netflix specials, those are still very popular, So no, I mean, we might disagree on how alive cancel culture is now, but no, I do agree that it's not anything new, really.
No, it's not. Like it just has a different name. But you know what the worst part about it is they actually did succeed a little bit. So I'll tell you where they actually did hurt the film in the studio. So you guys know where the modern day image of Santa Claus really comes from? Like the jolly red, sort of red cheeked character. Like that image is a lot. Yeah, Coca-Cola.
Yeah, like this version of Santa. I mean, like kind of the basic schema of red suit, white beard.
Yeah.
That's like, Saint Nicholas, like illustrations of Saint Nicholas, but like the cherubic face, kind of like the Santa being a person of size.
Yeah. The big burly
comes
Santa.
From Coca-Cola, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's all from Coca-Cola.
That's all from Coca-Cola.
Yeah, like that modern day image is Santa. They're the ones that reintroduced Santa into American zeitgeist. So they come, they see this, and then they freak out because all these people are complaining, we're not going to buy your soda anymore. We're just going to go buy Pepsi from now on because they don't support this kind of thing. And it's the same. It doesn't change. We're not going to buy Bud Light anymore because of you, Dylan Mulvaney. Fuck you. We're going to go buy this other beer which doesn't have gay people and rainbows on it. And then you find out, yeah, it does. Everything has that. Like, everything. Everything. No, not everything. Not everything. No, it is what it is. But anyways, Coca-Cola comes, threatens TriStar to pull sponsorship and relinquish ownership, because they had like a stake in the company at the time. They said if they don't do it, they don't like this do something about this movie, they were gonna have a reaction. So then basically they had to limit release it, and then the soundtrack got shelved for about 30 years. So you could not get that song that they're singing throughout the whole movie for years, which in my opinion was a stupid move, because it is a catchy song. You could have had yourself a very good Christmas, like, it might be the only thing that could contend against when Mariah Carey rises from the briny deeps every November, you know? That damn song. Like, I'm glad this year I'm not listening to the radio. I haven't heard it yet. It's long. I'm surviving against Mariah Carey. But no, that's the story of Kent. Oh, and there's one more person I had to say a fuck you to, even though he's dead. Fuck you, Mickey Rooney. You were the first one that went ahead and said these people should be run out of town. And then on the fourth or fifth one, you starred in one of these movies when they gave you a paycheck. And then you stopped talking shit. So fuck you. I hope you're somewhere burning in hell with that money. That's all I have to say about Mickey Rooney. Hypocrite. That's where he hits my list. Add Mickey Rooney to the enemies list. All right?
All right.
For that and
Word
breakfast
document.
at Tiffany's. Fuck Mickey Rooney.
At some point, I need to make a passion project to go through all of these episodes, which is our 40th episode today. Congrats,
Yes.
guys.
Happy 40th.
Happy 40th.
And then go through all these hours of episodes and start listing all of these enemies that that we have more or less.
I
taken
believe
up our
Red
resources.
has listed the enemies in the past. I believe we should just,
I have the list in front of me right now.
we should make that a year-end tradition. Just list how big the list has
Oh.
grown over the
That's not a bad idea, actually. What is this our last episode of the year?
I'm not sure, although there is
Okay.
one movie I wanted to pitch for next week. But next
Okay,
week, I think
what
it
day is
might
it?
be Thursday. The 2nd is on the Thursday next week. No, wait, no. We have one
26th.
more, the post-Christmas one.
The 27th. Okay, are you guys out for the 27th?
Yeah, 27, 26, I'm around. So, we can figure that out then. So,
Yeah, I
but
can.
anyways.
My mother's going to be in town, so I don't know if we'll have that evening tied up, but I will. How about just in case this is the last episode?
go for it,
Oh,
read it while
oh,
we look
there-
up a few
okay.
more things
Let's,
over
Okay, so middle section of the episode, transition music,
Hold on a
and it's the end of the year review of enemies.
minute.
This year's enemies are okay. You guys can probably guess who the first one is.
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer
Uh,
Aniston.
yeah.
That's it. Yep. All right. For some reason that Bolt and I still don't quite seem to understand, Jennifer Aniston is the root of all evil. It's not money. It's Jennifer Aniston.
Yes, it is Jennifer Aniston. She made a shitty movie and she's a hypocrite. There you go. She's the first one.
Okay. Okay. Second on the list is the ghost of Leonard Nimoy.
He kept messing with our technology.
Those unfamiliar with Ghastly Hallows lore, Leonard Nimoy is always responsible whenever our tech is not working. So,
And Pumpkin has not learned to not mess with the dead.
I
It's
don't
okay.
mean to mess with him. I thought it to be his friend.
You keep doing it. You keep doing it.
okay, so number three. Number three is Big Bob Pataki from Hey Arnold.
Yeah, fuck Big Bob.
We
I'm
are
glad he's
so
out of business
paranoid. We are so paranoid and eager to make enemies on the Ghastly Hallows podcast that we will go after fictional characters,
now.
which
Yeah.
is all the more unfair because they can't fight back, right? They can't defend themselves.
Look,
It's
that
oh,
voice actor
what's the
could come
word?
here and go, "Hey, I don't know what's wrong with you, but I made money with the beepers," and then just walk away. He could, but he doesn't because he knows he's wrong.
Oh. Helga, we're gonna spend some quantity time.
Mm-hmm. And then he proceeds to
okay.
give her a horrible week, asshole. Fuck you, Big Bob.
Yes. Okay. Number 4 is fruit roll-ups.
What?
I
Do you
forgot.
remember how that happened?
No.
I feel like you're messing with me. Now.
I forgot
I'm
how
not
it
remembering
was.
this
Story
roll-ups.
of- This is the story of so many like tribal rivalries, is that nobody remembers how it started, but they feel very strongly about how bad the other people are. So, okay, I don't care how it started. Fruit roll-ups, fuck you.
Yeah.
I wrote it down and I'm not erasing it. Okay.
I'm losing the sponsorships left and right this episode.
Oh, who even eats fruit roll-ups anymore?
Stupid
Fair
kids.
point.
Stupid kids.
Watch my nephew be eating a fruit roll
I also put
right
the children
now.
there. I also
All
put
right,
the children
so-
on the list.
This is a wordy one. Okay, you ready? Okay. That particular Burger King that doesn't exist anymore with the weird Filipino guy behind the counter.
Ah, yes. Yes, I sort of
Mhm.
remember that. Dick.
Yes, just if you were learn from people to anime characters to snacks. Yes.
Yes.
There is nothing safe and sacred on this podcast, apparently.
No. And we're coming for you next.
Wait, whoa,
right.
hold on. We need the viewership. What are you doing? No,
Okay.
people who support us are off limits for the time being.
Okay. For the time being, yeah. When we get big enough, we can start making enemies within the ranks.
Oh,
Thanks
dear
for the
Lord.
follow, dude.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Always kidding. Always kidding. Viewers or listeners, right? No one's viewing this.
Well,
It's on YouTube, but no
I
one's
have
viewing it.
some people on TikTok, and I just got to follow. Thanks, dude.
Yay!
Yeah.
The tickety top. Okay. Next one is Busta Rhymes.
Okay, all
That
right.
had to do with Halloween Resurrection.
Yeah. And I think the rule should be we should wait. Is
We have rules?
wait. Is Busta Rhymes dead?
No.
No.
No, he's not. Okay, I thought that I was gonna say the rule should be we only start shit with rappers if they're already dead.
No,
But
he's
too
not
late
dead,
now.
but he's
That's
poor
not-
as shit. I heard last time he filed for bankruptcy. No,
Didn't he do a Walmart commercial this
he
year?
had to. Well, if he did,
That's
it,
him. Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, what he's not dead, but he's down. So
So I just kicked him a little while he was down. Is that
Yeah.
a crime?
Can you wait until he at least has the dirt on him
He did.
for picking fights?
He did
we
have
don't
dirt
even
on
have
him.
that much on.
No, I mean the dirt
Okay.
on his grave.
Next
No,
one
he's dead
is-
live.
Next one is CG, short for computer generated animation. And I think that I'm the one that actually like suggested that this one go on the list because I, as a rule, hate CG in horror films. It just takes you out of it. It always looks fake. It always makes it less scary. It's always in this. It's like this temptation that directors have to show you too much. It's like we can make so much happen on screen that we might as well show you all of it. But it's like with the best horror, you are shown things sparingly.
Yes.
Okay, so we will probably come back to this subject many more times, but that is why that is on the list. Okay, next one.
I just hope
Ryan
you know
Reynolds.
we're going after concepts now. That's the level
Yeah,
of
yeah.
headiness that we reach. We're going
Abstract.
after concepts
Yes.
and business practices.
Yes.
Not even uncountable nouns are safe on
Mhm.
this podcast. Okay, next one is Ryan Reynolds.
Well, that's
That's your
because
shit.
every
Yeah.
time you put Ryan Reynolds in a movie, you effectively lose a lot of money, or he hijacks your franchise, and we never get anything again.
Or
Don't bring
both.
fucking Deadpool
Or
at
both.
me. That's the only time we've gotten fucking sequels. All right, we're not getting Where's Detective Pikachu #2? Where's Blade 4? No, right? We haven't gotten those in a while. But every time I say that, somebody comes up with, oh, but Deadpool and Wolverine are doing. Fuck you. Those movies are coming back because the X-Men were already there. He just put the final bullet in the X-Men's head. Movie sucked anyway. All right. Fucking Ryan Reynolds. He sucks. I didn't like one movie his. He's been doing the same movie for 20 years at this point. Continue. Just friends. That's what it is.
Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Uber Eats is the next on the list.
Wait, what? Why?
I completely stand by this one. I don't care how it came up, but I don't like Uber Eats because I was Ubering for a while and I tried Uber Eats for like half the summer, and it is a total scam from my experience. It is a scam. I would get I would get offers where it was like you can drive like a total of an hour and a half between the place where the person wants the food and then the 45 minutes it's going to take to actually get it to them, and we'll give you $8. It's insane. Okay, next on the list. I don't care how it came up, but it is insane.
I think they also
People
fucked up one of our orders around here too throughout the time. So
I mean, that's just like delivery and like ordering things in general. That's going to happen. But like, I couldn't even like understand how they were offering drivers $9 to drive for like an hour and a half. Anyway, people named Scotty.
Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know.
What movie was it with Scotty? With a person named
Evil
Scotty?
Dead.
Evil Dead. Yes.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then the audio crapped out when the one time I titled it the right way. Fucking Scotty doesn't know.
Okay. Now, this I do not stand behind this one because I have lived here, I have loved here, I have developed an affection for this part of the country. So I myself do not stand by this, but I am willing to give voice to opinions that I do not agree with because I am a proud defender of the First Amendment. This item on the list is the Midwest.
That's because I almost died there on 3 different occasions. That's
No,
why.
I know my experience of the Midwest has been very different from yours, so I do understand that perspective.
Actually, hold on. Just a viewer made a question here, including Scottie Pippen. You know what? Scottie Pippen has a really fucking shitty game on the CD, on the Sega CD.
Oh, no.
He does.
Oh, no.
You should go look that shit up, and then you'll understand why he's on my personal list. Add him to the list. Last one of the year.
Thanks,
Fuck Scottie
Joseph
Pippen.
Viewer. Thanks, Joseph Viewer.
I am a vortex and well of hate, people. It's how it goes.
Okay, this next one I actually do endorse. Old Spice.
Yeah, it sucks.
We're an enemy of Old Spice. I like their commercials. I just don't like their product.
Yeah, I like the when Bruce Campbell
The
was
commercials
the Old
haven't
Spice guy.
worked.
But you go on a date with Old Spice and she rejects you, you had it coming. Fucking moron. Next.
The Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Oh, come on. Oh, come
Anyone who
on.
knows me knows I hate those movies with a fiery passion.
We are enemies not only of individual movies but entire franchises.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. You hate the franchise, but you love the director.
Yes, because studio meddling is a thing, sir.
Oh, man. It's...
Studio
Keep
meddling is a
going,
thing,
keep
and
going.
misfires are also a thing.
Yes, look at Batman and Robin.
I do think that I like really became kind of aware of studio meddling when I realized that Kenneth Branagh directed the first Thor movie.
Yep.
It just like watching it, I'm like, there is no mark of Kenneth Branagh on this movie at all.
That's
like
why he didn't come back.
Yeah, like is that right?
Yep. Too much studio
Yeah, it's
meddling,
just
and
like,
he wanted
now-
one thing, and they wanted more comical jokes. So he
Yeah.
said, "All right, I'm out of here."
Yeah, like I am a fan of the Marvel movies, but for the most part, they're pretty like they're pretty much kind of have the same tone. They all pretty much have the same beats. You know, it's like fairly formulaic. So like
Right.
when they had this like really unique director directing one of these, and it still felt like everything else. I was like, okay, there's no way that he actually like had much of a hand in this.
So a couple years ago, I told my wife and her sister the outline for every Marvel MCU movie, which is why I dropped out of the fucking franchise. I'm like, every movie is a similar thing. This guy who is a regular person, he might be rich, he might be poor. Just insert John Everyman right here.
Yeah.
Gets a power. He has his plucky best friend, Ned, War Machine, Aquafina. that Mexican guy from Friday. They're all there dropping lines, telling them how cool that this power they have is. But they themselves like the power at first, and they make jokes. They do things. They save the world. Use these powers to try their best to be better versions of themselves. But then they have self-doubt. Waiting in the wings is someone else who says, "No, this is not right. I'm jealous of you. I should have the power. I'm more deserving," says Ironmonger. What was that? Abomination. Says the other Black Panther guy, Killmonger. Says Red Skull. Says Loki. I deserve all these things, not you. And then they fight. They take the power away, but with the power of friendship and that cool sidekick, they recover the B version of who they were and use their heart to fight and vanquish evil. We wait about 10-20 minutes of credits where they reveal that the person is not dead. He's just a part of a bigger storyline and give us more money next year. Pretty much every fucking MCU movie out there. They're all the same.
Okay.
They're all the same.
Not the Guardians. Not the Guardians.
Yeah, and then what did they do? They got rid of the guy who made the one different movie.
Yeah, hey, look.
Sounds like a fair assessment, but it's not even just the plots. It's like the way that it's shot.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they all kind of feel like the same movie, which in a way is good because they all do exist in the same world. You know, they link up to each other. So, like, if they felt too different, that actually might be a flaw. That actually might feel like they weren't unified. But it was like, you know, it kind of felt like, okay, Kenneth Branagh directed this, but I don't like see him in the movie, and that kind of feels like a waste. Anyway, but we have a list to get through.
Yes.
There's a couple more things. Okay,
The MCU,
Hulk Hogan. He's
yeah.
on
Fuck
the
Hulk
list.
Hogan.
Oh my goodness.
Anti-vaxxing fucking weirdo. I could go on and on for Hulk Hogan for hours. The shitty music album he had too. Fuck him. All right, next.
We have enough wrestling material on
I
this.
saw
that
his
don't
sex
want
tape
to-
one time. His dick is about the size of a pencil.
Okay,
Alright.
well, on theme. On theme. Let's just get through the wrestling stuff. Vince McMahon.
Fuck yeah,
Yeah,
fuck him.
No, just say WWE as a whole. Just
WWE,
covers
okay.
everything.
All right, yeah. Blackpink.
How did they
Wait,
make
what?
my list again?
Whoa! Are you sure you wanna commit to that one? Because
I don't even know what Blackpink is. Remind me.
that is a K-pop band that you don't want to fuck
yes.
with. Yeah,
I'm trying
no,
to
take
figure
that off your list right now.
You don't want to
Take
fuck
that
with
off.
them?
No, you don't want to fuck
Are
with
you
them.
saying that you'd rather fuck with Buster Rhymes than a K-pop band?
Actually,
Yes.
that K-pop band is kind of in control of 75% of the world now. They all whack it to them. I don't want to piss
Okay,
them off either.
so the real beefs are happening in K-pop now.
Actually, the real beefs are
Naturally.
still happening in rap. Those people are just doing a horrible, hostile takeover of everything, and they got everything by the nuts now. Because here in Hollywood, no one creates anything anymore, except for those people. So now they have everything by the nuts, and we're screwed.
Yep, essentially. But that's
Mhm.
a topic for
K-pop
another
and
day.
Disney.
Actually, they already are producing projects for Disney. Disney's trying to get in there, and they're eventually buying. See, just a few agrees. If K-pop fans are crazy, let's not piss off Blackpink fans.
Yeah.
Okay,
I need
Blackpink, you are tentatively off the list
Mhm.
because no.
If you guys get more subs, I will gladly play APT at the end of this fucking stream. Go get more
Okay.
people to follow our YouTube and TikTok channels, all right? I'll gladly pay it at the end of the stream. Just please don't come hurt us. All right.
Okay. This one, you know, we'll see. This item is boomers.
Oh, yeah, it's still on the list.
Yeah.
We just talked shit about
Yeah,
them 5
hey.
seconds ago.
There's no justification for it.
Hey.
Just get that's just universally just
Okay.
like, accepted.
No, you have to give the caveat. Some of my best friends are boomers.
Then you're enabling them.
Yeah.
Add red to the list.
Interesting. Okay, fine. You know what? You know what? Fine. Red. There we go. RED. Got it.
Yeah.
And not the movie either.
We're having. Okay, I think we should call this an intra beef,
Mm-hmm.
a beef within the leadership.
Friends with boomers. Yep.
Very different than friends with benefits. Those are friends without benefits.
I mean, depends on the type of business we're talking about. Like, they have
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
They took
And
your
Social Security
benefits.
pays.
What?
Yeah, they took your benefits. At least you're taking it back.
Okay, the whole production team of Home Alone 3.
Yeah, fuck that movie.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I haven't seen it, but I don't need to
Don't
know
watch
that to know that it's an abomination and a scourge on the earth.
Mm-hmm. Stupid.
Anyway,
Yeah.
okay, and that brings us back to our current item, Mickey Rooney.
Ah, yes. Mickey Rooney, who talked shit about these franchises and then went and took a paycheck in the end anyway, because he has no integrity whatsoever. Mickey Rooney is the biggest whore on the fucking American Hollywood system. Fucking Mickey Rooney. Pretended to be a Japanese guy doing a racist caricature, then he comes and does this movie. Does the other one. After talking crap about this one. So, back to the film at hand. The enemies list was a good...
Oh, no. We have to do the translation music back. This has been the end of this year's enemies.
Next year.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I played the Seinfeld music for that. There we go. Wait, Left 4 Dead boomers included. Yes, them too. All right. You have to hit them and then shoot them. I remember trying to explain that to an idiot when paying back for blood, and he didn't get it. He just started talking about Arn Anderson's dick. So,
Oh, that reminds me of another. Actually, not going.
anyways, back to this point. Back to the most controversial film of in Christmas history. God. So, this one. We were at. He was a kid being beaten in the orphanage, right? That's where we were at before we started talking about cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
How many did you? All right, just between the three of us here, you just raise your hand so I can see it on the screen. I don't need to. You don't need to say yes or no for fear of retribution. How many here wanted to punch that old Mother Superior? Just raise your hand. You wanted to punch the Mother Superior. All right, I see we are not unanimous on this decision. Lord knows I wanted to punch that lady so bad. First
would never
off,
hit-
I want to know why she ended up in
I
a
would never
wheelchair
hit a
later on.
woman.
say what, Red?
I would never hit a woman.
That is not hitting a woman. That's punching a bitch. That woman has it coming.
Oh, well, you didn't say it like that.
Well, she is a bitch. So would we raise a hand for that one? She deserves it. Damn, I hated that woman.
Why'd you just outed Red for not
Oh,
wanting to
well, so
participate in
no,
violence?
actually, the one that I got more outraged about was when Sister Margaret goes into his room and like tries to comfort him. So this is after he's put into his room by Mother Superior as punishment. And Sister Margaret goes in there, comforts him, gives him a pep talk, and says, why don't you come out? Like just come out and go play. And then Mother Superior finds that he's gone out when Mother Superior told him to not come out of his room. And then she brings him back into the room with Sister Margaret and gives him a spanking. And they don't show Sister Margaret like fessing up to this and saying like,
She
hey,
did.
no, hold on. Like,
Oh, she
I
did.
told him.
Yeah,
She
she
did.
pressed up.
She did, yeah.
It meant nothing. It meant nothing.
Yeah, she did. She said, I told him he could go out.
I must have missed that.
It was
Okay.
a really quick.
But-
It was really quick. Because
Okay.
Yeah, because the real issue at hand was he was seeing like two kids having sex. So
Yeah.
so she addressed that first. Like, did you see anything? And he said, no, I didn't see anything. Good, because what they were doing was bad. Now I'm gonna beat you for listening to Mr. Margaret over here against what I said earlier, because punishment is good. And I'm like, you are teaching all the wrong messages. You are teaching masochistic sadism right now.
Yeah, because then right there when she's telling him that, she's like, what were we doing out of your room? She's like, I said he could go out. And she just like, she doesn't even acknowledge that the sister spoke. She goes right into that. I'm going to punish you now because I have a kink fetish of beating kids. And you're a good looking kid. And I'm going to keep beating you. The lady was sick.
Also, let's just take a moment to announce that she beat 2 naked children in the middle of coitus. I'm just like, I'm pretty sure there are a couple of laws that she broke there, but you know what? We're just gonna ignore that. And she beats a third victim right after giving a really conflicting speech
Yeah.
and disrespecting her employee. Because honestly,
Another question I
that's
have
just-
is, what was this lady's fucking fixation on Santa? Like, what is your problem? Like, why do you need this kid to really love Santa Claus? Like, can anybody explain that to me? Like,
Maybe she was also a psychologist and believed in exposure therapy.
well, she did a
that was
horrible
more like
job
torture
of it.
therapy. That was torture therapy. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
that
you
was,
know, you messed up when a 8-year-old kid is able to punch out a grown man.
Yeah,
I still
that-
think
see,
that
that-
awesome.
Some of the violence in this movie is honestly very funny. Like, not even just that sort of thing. Like, even some of the pretty brutal violence is actually very funny.
Oh, yeah, we'll get there in a second because after
But
that,
yeah, the Santa Claus flying across the room and the 8-year-old kid.
that's what I'm going to steal
Gotta
from
love
Brad
that.
Jones here, but it's so true. That's what I wanted to do to Will Ferrell the whole time he was an elf. He was going flying across the room.
Okay, I refuse to add it. I refuse to add.
Don't
Buddy the
add
Elf
him.
to the
It's
enemies
just
list.
one of those things. I wanted to punch Will Ferrell and Elf a few times. And not that I hate Will Ferrell. I just wanted to hit Buddy the Elf. Is that so wrong? Does that mean I hate Buddy the Elf because I want to hit him?
I have nothing against Will Ferrell.
Neither do I.
Some of my best friends are Will Ferrell.
I love Will Ferrell. He was my favorite comedian growing up. But I wanted to punch him as Buddy the Elf once or twice. That's so wrong. Is that a crime?
All right, we're
Technically,
adding
it
Buddy
is.
to
It's
the
assault,
list.
but yeah.
Potentially,
We're adding Buddy to the list.
the
There we
desire is not a crime. The action is.
See,
I got my eye on you, Jack.
see.
Stay away from Will Ferrell.
It's fine. I won't hurt Will Ferrell. No.
You know, he's done all of the good stuff that he's gonna do. So
Yeah.
whatever.
So, yes. After that, punching Santa, right? We fast forward to when he's an adult now, and then we get to the good stuff. Because when he goes to work in that store, that guy's soul is crushed harder than all those Black Friday employees we were there with. Because he seems very pepped and optimistic about his job until we get to Christmas. So here's the thing I wondered. Do you think they knew that his parents, like, the boss knows his parents were murdered, but does he know that they were murdered by
Yeah,
a Santa
'cause he,
Claus?
No, he did not know.
Yeah, because he
Yeah, I
accidentally
know.
talks about his mom when he's drunk, and he's like, "Oh shit, I forgot. Sorry."
Yeah. But then my question is like, wait, did you know his parents were murdered by a dude in a Santa outfit? Because if that's the case, you should have at least sent out a memo.
No. I blame
Shouldn't
Sister
the
Margaret
nuns,
there.
like-
Sister Margaret messed up again there.
Yeah.
How did you not disclose this?
I'm going to
Like-
tell everybody to stop picking on Sister Margaret because she's cute, and I had a crush on Sister Margaret for a while there, right? I
If
would have
learned
totally
anything,
sullied
cute
that
women
nun.
are not excused. No,
I
cute
would have
women are not
totally
excused when
settled
they
that
fuck
nun.
up.
The one time I'm defending
Yeah.
somebody around here, I'm not going to
No,
hear
she
speak
ain't
ill
worth
of a cute
defending.
nun. Right?
She got many people killed. No, don't defend that.
She was doing her best for this fucking psycho. It's not her fault
This
that
was-
everybody's stupid.
Yeah, it was her fault. It was her fault. You know how
Oh,
many
I'm
people
sorry.
she
She
could have
was doing the
prevented?
right thing and trying to get this fucking psycho a job so he would be independent and get out of the nun house where his mom is. That lady's beating everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could
No, just him.
say,
Just him.
you could say, look, it's a toy store. There's going to be Santa all over the place, but like no matter where he works, there's going to be Santa. So
Yeah, like
I
it's.
don't know.
I'm
No,
sorry,
construction.
Santa is
Construction.
Oh yeah, cool. So when someone shows up to
Construction,
the Santa
yeah.
site,
Maybe an office.
yeah, okay, cool. So on the way to work, when you see a Santa thing on Coca-Cola, you're gonna go hit it with a hammer. Like that's it. You can't do
No,
shit about it.
he doesn't look at it because he was fine up until his boss made him wear the Santa suit.
No, he
and got him drunk.
Out. He had been freaking out
He-
throughout the month. He was fine
Yeah.
up until
Yeah.
December started, and then the
Yeah,
guy
and then
and
they
Just
start
this,
showing-
yeah, right, because like Discount Joe
Just seeing a
Pesci yells
picture
at
of
him.
Santa set him off.
Yeah, because he drops everything, and then Discount Joe Pesci's like, "Hey man, what's your fucking problem? All right, you were cool, but then suddenly you have an attitude problem the whole time. Like, you should really tell people what happened to your parents. I think they'll stop giving you a hard time. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that guy would be like, then don't go out into the floor. Just hang out in here. I'll go do the shit on the floor.
Well, no, I actually had this thought at watching the movie. It was like, it would be really embarrassing to tell people that you're afraid of Santa Claus.
Yes.
Like, it would be like they would laugh at you.
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
Yes,
if
you didn't tell them the
did tell
context.
There's no world where you're able to explain that context to anyone. Like, and this is after that. Remember, right before we get that montage, like, well, Mother Superior will beat him something fierce to the point where they didn't show it. They just fast forward 10 years. So in the 10 years, we don't know how much trauma this man had to endure in order to repress all of his Santa anxieties to that point.
Yeah,
She did a number on
I
him.
don't know, and
Well, I think at this point, as an
yeah,
adult,
look,
did he
it's,
say,
it's
hey,
hard to show that kind of.
well, I'm on the camp if
Go ahead.
as an adult he says, hey, my parents were horribly butchered by Santa Claus. I have a feeling most people would be a little more understanding versus him just kind of like spazzing out and dropping things and then everybody having to clean up after him.
Like,
It's
people with
you know,
trauma
it might
don't
be
tend
just
to-
very hard for him to retell.
Yeah, because it's traumatic.
It might be
People who have like traumatic experiences, especially like that, they can't articulate their feelings properly, and even if they can, people are not really receptive. Like, let's say like they've been through it, so
Yeah.
like his brother would be receptive to it. Useless sister Margaret would be. Not the nun, not Mother Superior. Obviously not her. Like, there's no way. No, she's just like, yes, I understand his situation, but fuck it, I'm gonna keep beating. I'm gonna beat the Christmas into this child, and see how well that works.
Christmas.
Holy Christmas, Batman. Christmas beat. For some reason, I imagine Santa beating someone with a candy cane now. Believe in Christmas.
Oh, I think
All I hear is
you're
punish.
getting that from Jimmy all the way.
I showed my wife that movie the other day. You started it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
I'm like-
started it. No, you started it.
that was a good one. Oh man. So I have another thing also. First off, I'm just gonna defend the nun. She tried her best. You can't do anything against these kinds of things. It's not her fault. She has pretty eyes. That's all I have to say about that. Have I said that the nun has pretty eyes? Because she does. She does.
She does.
She
Yeah.
does. So
And they glow with fear when she hears that. Oh, you're making my orphan child relive his trauma. Yeah. The beautiful eyes there.
yeah,
You just
she
see
does.
the slow movement
You
of her
can't-
hand.
alright, maybe you guys would
and
understand
to
better
the
than I
receiver.
would. But to my understanding, even among nuns, isn't there like a sort of military circuit where, like, should that sister raise her voice to the Mother Superior, she's going to get in trouble herself? Even if the Mother Superior could be butchering that kid, like, if she says something to her, the Mother Superior has the authority, like, oh, you! Mouth off to me, huh? 80 rosaries or something like that. Like, they're still under their control, aren't they? Isn't that like how it goes in a nunnery?
Yeah, it's just a
I'm
beer.
not quite sure how it is. Yeah, I don't know if it's like the military and that it's like drop it and give me 50 Hail Marys, like that kind of thing. Like I don't know. I mean, I know that. Actually, no, I don't really know anything about how nunneries
She
work.
wasn't fired.
Well, you don't get fired, but I've heard stories that like they're very it's very militaristic. So even if she wanted to do something about it, it's not like she could.
You can
Yeah,
get.
it's a ranking thing.
I
at the end of the day.
would assume that if you're just bad at your job, you can get reassigned, or if you do something truly objectionable, you can get defrocked or whatever it would be called for that kind
You get
for nuns as clergy.
You get kicked out of the covenant. Or
Right.
whatever that The I don't know.
Not a coven.
My knowledge of Catholic child modification starts and ends with child beating,
Yeah, well,
and that's where I check out.
most of us who grew up in a household like that have experienced it. So, as we move into this one, we're about to get to the meat of it now. See how like well thought out this movie is? Like, there's a whole intro to who this guy is before he starts offing people. So, after we get that really 80s montage of him being a good worker, freaking out during the holidays, they decide to put him in an Santa outfit, which I saw the first time. Like, yeah, that's a recipe for disaster. This is not going to end well for anybody. And it didn't. So
The children, okay.
No, they didn't. He was threatening those kids while he had them on his lap.
Yeah, threatening. They were not harmed in any physical way.
Not physically, but mentally they were scared. That little girl was telling on him, and they were like, "Oh, great, he's doing a good job with the kids."
That was hilarious.
Don't you know what he does? I would rather get Billy Bob Santa at that point. Any of the other Santas, but this. Actually, no. Correct. I would still rather get this guy than get the Santa from A Christmas Story. Just a little bit more with this guy.
Oh!
Just shoot your eye out, kid. He kicks him right across the face, and then he pushes him back down. He kicks him down the stairs like, that Santa hit someone. The other ones just cuss people out or act weird. That's about it.
See, I would rather Santa tell me I'll shoot your eye out than him patronize me and say you'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Shoot your eye out, kid. No.
Yeah.
He broke his soul in those 5 seconds. That's all it took.
Look, I'm fine if you threaten me, but don't condescend to me.
Yeah, douche.
Okay. That's what we have a limit. Gotcha.
So, no, then we get to the meat of it. After their Christmas party, this guy, Billy, is good and drunk. And he decides to be a hero-ish for a second.
Let's call it what it is. He decided to be the Punisher before the Punisher was a thing.
Yeah, deny, defend, depose. He decides to go ahead in there and stops Joe Pesci from assaulting that lady. Oh man, there's a lot of this stuff in this movie, isn't there? From the mom to this situation here.
Yeah,
which leads me to just my question of, all right, he kills the dude in a very, I gotta say, a very creative way for a dude who's never killed someone before, right? He wraps the cord around his neck, and then he somehow manages to make it into a noose and hang him and put him down. I'm like, the guy isn't
with
even
one
kick
hand
or nothing. He doesn't go with one hand. I'm like, oh.
I'm like, what the? Oh man.
Superhuman strength. I mean, he was a little guy.
But no, still, like, geez, what were they feeding him in that orphanage? Like, what the hell? Like, he was getting beaten and getting soldier serum, apparently. I'm like, that makes no sense.
No, it was weird. I'm like, wait a minute, what? But my second shocker...
You know what? You know why he was able to commit that murder? And this is the crossover with The Christmas Story. It's because he drank his Ovaltine.
The Ovaltine makes an appearance. Be sure
combine that with the milk.
Ah, yes, he was drinking his milk, wasn't he? Make sure he had strength.
What? Like, that was just... I will never... I can never unsee that.
Here's where my second thing comes from, my point of shock. I don't know if someone would react the way that lady did, where she freaked out. And she started, like, hitting Billy after saving her from basically being assaulted.
Yeah.
Well, I think she was hitting him because I think she was probably going to get assaulted by him, because that's what the vibe looked like in that scene. Because, like, he was about to reenact basically what that Santa was about to do to his mom to her, because prior to this he was having sexual fantasies of her.
You know, he was having healthy ones though.
I mean, as healthy as like, oh, I'm just a weird kid from an orphanage that's just fantasizing about his coworker.
Yeah, that's healthy
Yeah,
though. Like there's
I,
nothing wrong with that. But in his case, he freaked
I,
out because the nun already has him traumatized against any of that stuff.
yeah, again, thank you, Catholic Church. You're doing wonders
He's your
on childhood.
he's your
I
typical
mean, it's a
alt-right
movie,
nutcase now.
like it's a movie.
hmm But that's what it is. Like he's just freaked out. So
We don't want to
then
use this as we don't want to use this as an accurate model of the church.
no, like I'll be honest. I remember being a kid though and hearing my elders talk about how the nuns used to discipline them.
Mhm.
So like it is a thing across cultures. Like yeah, the nuns tell you to get on your damn knees and just stay on your knees when you're bad in school. Like it was a typical thing. Nuns doling out punishments was not something you didn't hear about. But this lady was just sadistic, and that's not cool.
Right. Yeah.
Like even for their standards, like you know what? He was mean. He punched Santa, wrap him across the knuckles, and make him go pray in the corner for a couple hours. But there's no need to do what she was doing. Like what she was doing was
Do
evil.
you even know what she did to him after he punched out Santa? That's the thing that troubles me. Like, what did you do?
Yeah,
Because he was running in a corner.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
if
kid was
you
scared
got,
out of
like,
his mind.
If you got humiliated and tied to the bed,
Yeah,
and then if you got the belt and then humiliated and tied to the bed for just walking out of your room, imagine what you got for punching Santa Claus.
yeah, and that's
Dear
that's
Lord.
where
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
sit
sure.
there and go like, no, yeah, this lady was just evil. Like there was no need for her to do any of the stuff that she was doing to this kid. You know, like it was all uncalled for. So
Like,
in this situation, right, she does that, and the kid's freaking out. Now the kid has a bad idea as to what happens with, you know, he has a bad idea as to what happens with sex and all that stuff now. Like now he doesn't really know. Or now it's just automatic ingrained. Oh no, this is a bad thing. I shouldn't be feeling this. These feelings are wrong. So he freaked out.
Right.
But my question is like this lady sees the guy, dude get murdered who was trying to assault her, and I'm also wanted to just briefly touch on that too. Like this guy's Riz was very sleazy. He's like, oh yeah, I got a present
yeah.
for you, honey, but I gotta take
Oh
you into
my
the back over here and show you. I gotta take
Also,
you.
like the idea that she seemed to genuinely not know what he was talking about. It's just
which was
like
lordy.
the naivete of this poor young woman. But she was, she was giving Billy eyes like moments before that, and it's like, come on, I thought Billy was your guy, and he's obviously a much nicer person than this other jerk.
But if Billy is, being freaky or whatever, then I don't blame her if Billy's being like weird and all that stuff. Like she's probably Billy's probably not interested in dating. But I was just surprised. I'm like, wait a minute, okay, fine, I understand you reacting now, but I don't get it. But I see like you reacted that way, and it's what it is. But
I don't get him killing her. That's the thing I don't jive with. Like you saved her. In your mind, you did a good thing. And whether or not what was gonna happen after that thought process is up for debate. But like up until that point, you had no reason to kill her. Like she was a victim. Like that should have been like a moment of, oh, he was saving his mom
Yeah.
in that. But no,
Yeah,
it
that
just
part
turns
didn't-
into, oh, let me just like have you beat my mom in the afterlife. I'm like, okay, okay, all right, this is where we're going.
Yeah, that part didn't entirely make sense, but no. But moving on to the scene in the front of the store with the boss and the boss's whatever that person is, like his
manager squeeze. I have a feeling those
assistant.
two were banging for some reason. I don't know why.
administrative assistant.
Yeah, the secretary
with
he was
that.
banging.
So
I don't know why.
she dies with an arrow to the back. And my first thought was, wait a minute, they're selling arrows that can actually kill someone.
Right?
In the store?
Right?
Yes, because
Like-
it's the 80s.
Why is this in a kid's store?
It's probably made of lead too.
Oh my god. Oh man, she put up a good fight in terms of like those type of character types where like typically they just go down. She was clever. She literally made it to the door. If it wasn't locked by that idiot store guy, like she would have made it out.
Who wanted the store owner who wanted to get, and I quote, shit faced
Yeah,
after
I,
the
I mean, yeah, sure. He's a
After the
good
cri-
boss to like work under
Yeah.
because you get free booze and you get to just get plastered on Christmas because he was done with Christmas as much as anyone there. Oh, not as much as Billy, obviously, but like, yeah.
yeah, Billy's had it with Christmas.
Actually, this, you know what's funny? These people could be the alternate universe for the folks over at Black Friday.
I was
Yeah.
thinking of something like that. Yeah, it did kind of feel like Black Friday
But
because I mean, even down to the store owner wearing a bow tie was just like, this is. I wonder if that was intentional. I wonder if
I wouldn't
any
be
of this,
surprised.
any of Black Friday is modeled off of this movie.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Do you know who one of the prospective directors was? But the studio said no, he can't do this movie.
Nah,
Sam
Bruce
Raimi.
Campbell. Oh, so okay.
Sam Raimi. And you know, if like
Oh,
Sam
wow.
Raimi would have done it, Bruce Campbell would have most likely been the kid. Would have been Billy.
Oh, wow.
Or he would have been the
Yeah.
detective with the nun
Yeah.
who shoots the deaf guy.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that was I don't mean to laugh, but that was
I do laugh.
hilarious.
It was dark and
Oh.
fucked up. We'll get there in a second because there's more dark and fucked up shit that happens in this movie. Here's the best part. Once he starts offing people, he opens that shit door and says, "Let's take this shit outside." He walks out and he starts out of mayhem and killing people in the Santa outfit and ruining a bunch of kids' Christmases. He decides to kill that couple fucking in the middle of first off, I just have a question. Did anybody here ever get left with the babysitter on Christmas Eve? Like, that's like the weirdest time to be.
That is a weird time to have a babysitter.
Right. And then
Yeah.
and for the longest time too, the guy who she was with, I thought he was the dude from Karate Kid for a long time. I thought that was
my
Billy
God.
Zabka for the longest
Yeah.
time. I'm like, oh, it's not him. Oh, wow.
I mean, just to be totally judgmental about parenting decisions for a moment, who is like going somewhere on Christmas Eve where you can't bring your kid?
yeah, like it. Unless you're, I don't know. Like I'm sitting there, like, why?
Some sort of family emergency, like I don't know, maybe, but
Unless
like,
you work in an office and you have an office party and you need to get shit faced, but you can't do that only if you have to watch for your kids. So
well,
you
no,
need
it's
to
Christmas Eve and
babysit.
you have kids. You should be at home with your kids on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, and
But if
most
you have to
officers
work-
don't care.
No,
No, but if you have to work,
Christmas
Yeah.
parties not work.
no, it depends. It's
Well,
like,
okay, yeah, maybe it's like a single parent, and the parent is a police officer or a nurse or something.
yeah, there
Yeah.
are certain places that it was like, yeah, no, like when you want you here, kids or not, so you have to go figure that crap out, and that's when the babysitters come in.
But yeah, no, like the whole time I'm like, okay. And let's begin. This is where the cat gets this lady killed. This lady popped up in another
Yeah.
movie earlier this
This
year.
is the scene where the cat. This is the scene that are the seeds of my new theory about animals in horror films.
Mm-hmm. You guys recognize that lady?
No,
She was in a movie we saw earlier this year around Halloween.
wasn't the flesh eater, was it?
No, Night of the Demons. She was
Night of the
the
Demons.
lady with the tutu.
Oh,
She was
Uh-oh.
Angela's best friend. That's her. It's the same. That's Linnea Quigley. It's the same lady. That's what she did in the 80s. She got naked for everybody. Those damn boobies. They're natural, supposedly. They're
The reason I
real
guess
and they're
that's the-
spectacular.
the reason I guess
Anyways.
flesh eater was because I was like, I think I've seen those boobs somewhere before.
Yeah, you saw them in Night of the Demons. That's where you saw them before.
Yeah.
She was right in the guy she popped the eyes out of.
Right,
where.
right, okay, yeah.
But no.
Okay, what's your favorite kill in this movie?
Oh, no, nothing can beat killing Deaf Santa. Nothing beats that.
Actually, my favorite kill is when
Yeah,
he
that was my
slices
favorite too.
when he slices the heads off of the two assholes going down
Oh,
in the fucking
yeah.
sled.
Yeah.
Oh no, he only got one of them. The other kid ran, which I was surprised. I thought he would have gone for the double kill there, but nope.
No,
That
that
other
was-
kid got out of there.
There were a couple kills that actually made me laugh out loud. The two that we just mentioned were two of them. So yeah, the toboggan kill where he jumps out from behind the bush,
Naughty.
his head off with the that punish. That was very funny, but also just like the,
Oh, man.
the scene where you have the deaf priest that's coming up to the orphanage to play Santa, and all the kids are like, "Yay, Santa!" And then a cop pulls up, jumps out of the car and shoots Santa. And then you have a close up of some kid's face, and he's like, "Oh!" like he's almost doing like a Home Alone gasp. Oh!
You have the other nuts like, "Hey, don't look inside! Get inside right now!"
It felt like a movie. It felt like a moment in one of those like subversive Christmas movies where you have just like something terrible happens in front of the kids.
And the kids are just like, "What do we do?" Oh my god! The scene that doesn't get talked about much that I found hilarious was when the dad is sneaking in through the window and to play Santa for his daughter, and the cops roll in, like, hands in the air, Santa, Daddy.
Like, thanks for ruining Christmas, asshole.
My thing is, like, I'm surprised they didn't put like a bulletin on the news, right? Like, hey, parents, yeah, please don't do the Santa thing. There's some nutcase walking around killing people dressed up as Santa. Maybe not
Beware
do
of
it this
Santa.
year. Like, beware this year. There's somebody doing it, because after hours, like, at least full disclosure, I'm Hispanic. We celebrate Christmas differently than they do than most of the American folks I know do. We do it at night. 24th is the day for us. The 25th is just a kind of a mellow day hanging out, but 24th is like the real day for us. So we would have been up and we would have heard the bulletin as we were kids, but most kids, especially from that area they're at, seems like a very like white bread town. Those kids should all be asleep. So I'm surprised like there's no like news radio or on the TV like, hey, families, at this time, please refrain from dressing up as Santa Claus at Christmas parties. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Somebody's out there killing people as Santa. This way, at the church, it's the same thing. They get the notice, like, hey, yeah, we just won't do that this year. We'll do it differently.
But you know why they didn't do that? Because it's like, oh, if they announce like the MO of a suspect killer, then they will risk losing like any good lead on him, because he might just if you air blast out to everyone, then you're air blasting out to him, and he'll just like ditch the costume.
Well,
But
in this case, I think the nun pretty much did do her best to tell them that it's trauma manifest. So at this point, he's not listening to the radio or nothing. He's just wasting people he thinks are no good.
Yeah, but he had sound logic. Although I don't know how, in God's name, he knew that these two teenagers were banging, or at least they were trying to.
I think he heard them.
No, but
I think he looked
they
into
had
the
a record
window.
player playing.
Yeah, but I
They
think
had
he
a
looked
record player
into the
playing.
window or something. They weren't exactly discreet. They were like in the living room.
But like, there was the windows weren't open. Like,
No, you peek through the window and then you see. And that's what I think might have happened. But
why that house? All the houses he had passed.
but we're dwelling on this one thing again. We're moving past it. He killed them. He paled her through the antlers, and then the other guy he strangled and threw out the window. Right? Like I forgot how he killed that guy. He gave him a brutal death too, though.
Yeah,
But
with
he put up a fight though.
lodged in his side.
Yeah.
Yeah, he put up a fight. Like he had the best fight out of everyone. Like he was able to knock him out, go for the poker, and then didn't think to just run out into the wilderness and be safe. No, he decided to stand his ground,
Well, in all
and he got
fairness,
thrown out the window.
He's the only one who saw it coming. Nobody else saw it coming.
Yeah. Man, he should have cut his loss when he kicked him in the nuts and got him down. Like, no, you run. You don't say if I. No, you. I mean, maybe you got a weapon, but you run.
That's my purse. I don't know you. Boom. That's my purse. I don't know you. That's my purse. Man, but no. So, the biggest downer in my book of this movie is not all of the horrible assault and the innocent people getting murdered, the kids getting beaten and tortured, the kids watching traumatic events unfold before their eyes. None of that brings a sadness to me, as opposed to the unsatisfaction of not seeing that nun murdered, that Mother Superior murdered.
I agree with that. Why did Mother Superior live? It's not enough for her to be in a wheelchair. Like, no, she should be 6 feet in the ground. Like, she was supposed to be the final victim.
And then when they do kill her in the sequel, she looks nothing like the actress that is playing. They swap out the actresses. You don't get that satisfaction.
Spoiler warning.
Yeah, you don't want to watch that piece of crap anyway. It's only worth it for the meme where you get shouts garbage day. That's it. Not worth for anything else.
You can ruin bad movies for me. It's all right.
Yeah, trust me. I'm trying to help you guys to not have to watch that movie. Don't do it. All right? Everybody in the internet land, don't do it. The movie sucks. Don't watch the sequel. It's not worth it. It's not even ironically funny or ironically bad. It's just a bad movie.
It's like not even a good bad movie. It's a bad movie.
It's a bad movie. So it's like only 10% real movie too. Like the rest of it is all stock footage reused from the first one. That's it.
I mean, if it ain't broke.
Yeah, it's
like
not.
that movie made money, so it made sense for them to use as much as they can.
If it ain't broke, we can break it.
Yeah, and they surely broke it. Like, at least like in the first film, like the way they shot certain things made sense because like they needed to get scenes where there was still snow. Because when you see like when the final part of the orphanage, they were basically playing with like dirt, not even snow at that point. There was a little bit of snow, but they were mostly playing with like grass and dirt. I was like, okay, yeah, you guys were on a time crunch.
No. Boy. So, I believe we are about to hit almost all the bases, but I wanted to ask you guys at this point. Bolt, you first. What's your opinion on this one?
I believe that this movie would unfortunately suffer from the hypocritical virtue signaling of its time. And I mean, if it was not going to be this movie, it was going to be something else. But I mean, I kind of want to be glad that this got hit because it did super well despite all what happened with it. And as a person who doesn't celebrate Christmas and don't care to, like, I have no qualms about a murderous Santa being portrayed. It's like Christmas is an overinflated holiday. It gets way too much hype. Fuck Christmas.
So,
you not celebrate Christmas, Bolt?
No.
He's a robot. He doesn't celebrate anything. He's learning to celebrate and to love, right?
No.
Nanu. Nope. All right, Red. Your thoughts on this one?
I'm not quite sure if I think it's a good movie or not. I don't know. I do enjoy parts of it. I think that some of it's genuinely scary. I also think that some of it's genuinely funny. I wasn't quite sure how much of it was supposed to be funny.
Punish.
But I do. I like the story. I think the storyline is pretty solid. Even though at times I did find myself chuckling at just like the idea of someone like being afraid of Santa, or and then at times like chuckling that Santa's running from the cops. It's just like it would have been great if they just went for it and made it into a comedy. But then you couldn't do like the trauma story because like you can't have anything like, I don't know, like comedy shouldn't get that real. Like that was some real shit.
That's I'll let you finish. Sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, I enjoyed watching it. Is it a good movie? I'm not sure, but I did enjoy watching it.
To me, that usually means it is a pseudo good film.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a pseudo cinema.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
So I actually do have some
Right.
happy endings for this movie. Uh, and I did want to make a point there, it's something you just said, and then my brain just totally blanked because it's Friday.
I think you wanted to say something when I said that comedies shouldn't get that real.
Yeah, we go.
Comedies into like
So
genuine trauma.
the guy who directed this movie was not the screenwriter's first choice or the producer's first choice.
Hmm.
They were looking to get a few people. Sam Raimi. There's another guy, I think one of Mancuso or something like that. He was one of the guys who did Friday the 13th, and they wanted someone who'd handled this kind of thing before to handle this one, because they're like, if we get the right person, we might get even a new John Carpenter on our hands, but we need someone who kind of knows this type of thing to get it done. The studio came back and said, we're going with Charles Sellier. Like, he's been around in the business for years doing commercials and other movies. Like, why are we going with him? Because he has experience, so we're going with him. We feel safest with him. So what this guy did was he shot a straightforward movie minus, like, to me, for example, I think if you would have given it to a horror writer, when Santa shoots that guy, there would have been some kind of humor, at least like a one-liner out of the murderous Santa. I'm pretty sure they might have nixed the mom being assaulted and just, did a straight murder between the two of them.
Right.
And then like moving forward, I'm pretty sure like we would have spent less time in the orphanage getting to know Billy, thus just showing like, yeah, he had a fucked up childhood. He
Yeah.
didn't, like, not too much depth. Like, all you need to see is he getting beaten by the nun a lot, and that
Mhm.
he's trying. He has a nun that likes him, and that nun's the one that looks out for him, and we're good. We cut that 15 minutes and we get all into killing time. I think it would have been a lot funnier, because now you're opening up for him to be kind of like Freddy in a
Yeah.
Santa outfit, like, 'cause he's not a mute, like he can talk. And it also allows people that you wanted to see get it in a very funny way. In this case, like, the people that were around him were annoying, but I didn't want to see the boss die. I kind of liked him, even though he was annoying. Same with that manager lady. Like, they seemed like just regular people. And I'm like, I feel bad. But they're dying in such funny ways. Like, what the hell kind of toy store has a real bow and arrow set for sale? Who gives that to their kid? Like, you're just asking for trouble. But then I'm like, wait a minute. I grew up in the 90s, so we had some of the same toys. We didn't see that shit. And now I also understand why when I was a kid, they were like, if you see a gun, it's not a toy. I'm like, wait a minute. All the guns that I've seen are like Leon Red that are toys. What the hell are you talking about? And then like I watch it, like, oh, that makes sense now.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
This was an arrow that literally went through someone and then out the other side.
Yeah, that was like a legit arrow.
That was-
That had
yeah.
no gumption to it.
So- That's the sort
And
of
that was
thing.
his first time shooting an arrow, as far as we know, because there's no way an orphanage is gonna just train someone how
Yeah.
to use a bow and arrow.
No, that's the kind of bow and arrow that you hunt bison with. That's a
Yeah, like
that's
that shit's for
that's a
people
real
ready to
weapon.
go. Like that's intended to murder. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What are you using that for? Why are you selling that in your kid's toy store? And then on top of that, you have all like, this is pretty funny. Like, you could tell that they really didn't care, because they had the what do you call it? They have the actual copyrighted toys in the toy store as they're just filming things, and they don't really care. So I'm like,
Yeah, that
oh.
was. Did you watch the clip where Tarantino is talking about this movie?
I didn't get to see the clip because Quentin Tarantino kind of weirds me out, and I know that's saying nothing from me, but he weirds me out.
He's a weird guy, but he's a very interesting guy.
Yeah.
But he's talking about how all of these toys, all of these trademarked characters that we know are witness to all of these horrible things that happen, and that's kind of part of the weirdness of the movie, and part of what makes it, like, in a way, kind of like adds to the brutality of it. Sort of like, draws a sharper contrast. I think that this is what he was getting at. It just draws a sharper contrast between the environment and what's happening in the environment. But yeah, he was pointing out how that was something that you could do in the 80s, not because they were more permissive with violence in movies, but because the copyright laws were, I guess, looser. The rules around what you could use from other people's work were looser. Whereas today, he said, like, it's just all so tightly controlled, that kind of thing, and there's just so much intellectual property protections that you really couldn't do something like that now.
Yeah, one interesting show that I'll actually mention on here, that why we don't really see a mass retreat or DVD release for it or anything like that. You guys ever seen the original Muppet Babies from the 90s?
Yes.
Yeah. You got the Muppets like running in and out of actual movies with stock footage and stuff in that show. And the reason why they don't release it is because all those things didn't belong to the same people. There was a lot of camaraderie, and they used to just kind of like giggle with each other, like, "Oh yeah." For example, if I worked at WB and Red worked at Disney, but then I put one of his movies in a clip back in the day, we're friends. We would just chuckle about it. Check it out. I used your clip, but I drew this frog chasing a pig across the backdrop of it, and it would be funny. We would both just chuckle about it. Oh yeah, it is funny. That's it. It's over. Nowadays, me and him might find it funny, but our overlords will turn around like, that shit ain't funny. Sue. And now we got a problem. And that's how it is now.
It is legally not funny.
Yeah, not funny.
Yes.
And no, you can't. He can't do that. He does not have the. You don't have the right to allow him to do that, even though you made it. You don't have the right to allow him to do that. So, not funny. You're screwed. Done.
That's not funny.
No, it's not. And that's what the people thought about this film too. It's not funny. Well, to me, it is. Deaf Santa got shot in front of a bunch of kids. It's dark. Makes me laugh.
Yeah.
And on that note,
yeah, we've been going for a while.
Oh yes, we have.
Is anybody still out there? Yeah, it looks like there might be some people still out there.
Yes, we have some people popping in and out of TikTok. Just some. 1 second here. Play us. But ultimately, I'll say my final thought as I'm prepping everything to get us out of here, so we can all go ahead and enjoy our Christmas times. Honestly, what I like about this movie is that it isn't a straightforward slasher. There's a lot to it, and we were dissecting a lot here about this one, which I thought was pretty cool. So for me, I actually do like watching this one on Christmas time, and I actually do recommend it for anybody. But much like what was done for me, because I have a personal story with this movie, please, please, please do not play this one around your kids. Just don't do that. I when I was a kid, I didn't see this movie. It was actually one of the forbidden movies in the house. It was this one and another one we'll talk about probably in the summer. Sleepaway Camp. Those are the two that was like, oh, Carlos is in the room. Jack's in the room. We're not going to watch it. You got to go. And I would go off to go play N64 somewhere. They would watch it. So, it's a great film. I enjoy it. I enjoy the depth. I would recommend anybody who wants something different to horror to check it out. But until then, remember, folks, don't play as Santa. The cops might come and arrest you for B&E. And you guys have any closing statements?
Merry Christmas.
The Android has powered down, ladies and gentlemen. So,
jeez.
Did you actually fall asleep?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Say good night, Android. The say bye. We'll close you out. Let's do this.
This is the Sleepy Bolt.
Mm-hmm.
Signing off.
Sleepy Bolt.
Boy, I need to charge myself. Where's the power cord?
Alright, well, the music didn't play as I wanted to, but I am Pumpkin Jack coming out of the Ghastly Hallows. I hope you enjoyed our time here. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, Kwasi Kwanzaa, Tip Tot Tet, and a solemn deified Ramadan. Have a good one, folks.
You forgot Hanukkah, which starts on Christmas.
Ah, yes. I hope you all have your 8 crazy nights, and Adam Sandler comes and gives you plenty of presents on each of them.
Let it out, Davey.
Oh,